Hello guys, welcome back to day 20 of 100 Days to Code. My name is Tyler Potts and today we are going to be starting off our first website, full website build. So we've been doing small apps like mini apps, cool apps, but we did a chat, that's pretty cool, and we had that fully set up for a chat room app, shall I say. So that was pretty cool, but today we're going to be creating this simple website here. It's got it's full on text, no images, anything like that. We're going to be using CSS Grid, so I went out my way to learn CSS Grid because this style, also we have swapped over to Firefox, so we have these really cool grid tools. As you can see, you can show the grid I've built using CSS Grid, and you can highlight each section off the grid, and it is freaking awesome. I absolutely love this, it's amazing. And I'm going to be using Firefox. It's the Firefox Developer Edition, which I'm using, which gives you all these great tools. Look, you can add line numbers, you know which names. You can have display area names, although I haven't set any, and we can have extend lines infinitely, which I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. Which is awesome, and this is I've just found out that Firefox actually, sorry Chrome, I have a Google Pixel phone, don't get me wrong, I like my Google, but at the same time my Firefox is outdone them this time with the browser. It's the first time I've ever thought I'd ever say that, but they have. So yeah, we've got all this, so actually it's really cool, and the tools are so good. So you want to get this, download it, Firefox Developer Tools if you want to use it. Again, if you prefer Chrome, stick to Chrome. And anyway, so we've also created the... Sorry, I just noticed a bug, but we'll fix that when we actually build this. So I went ahead and I made this already just so you can see. But you'd select this and it was like that essentially. But that's not. We're not going to set the JavaScript in that up. We're just doing the layout for now in this one for the landing page of the site. It's quite plain. Actually, there's not much going on down here or much happening around. It's quite a simplistic site, but I'm thinking about in the future. So for now, we're going to start simple. We're going to get this landing page, then we're going to add in the background. We're going to add a background canvas where we're going to do some interactive. So when you move your cursor around, you'll be like this. So the yellow and the black will be slightly transparent, and you'll be able to see like balls where you can slap from left and right and all around and just knock them around, so you can edit those. And then maybe I'm going to add in a few moments, like maybe some social media links somewhere and stuff like that. But for now, this is what we've got, and this was probably going to take us the entire time we have anyway. So I'm going to reset all my stuff and we'll get cracking. But then before we have I use now for my SaaS, I use this free tool called Koala App. To install it, you go over to koalaapp.com and hit download. And what Koala App does, you drag your project folder in this, you drag your folder and you just drop it in here, and it'll bring up this with your, whatever SAS files in there. You right click and you set output path, so you choose where your CSS goes. I'd normally choose, I'd choose a CSS folder and call it main.min. And then you can set up how it all works, how it outputs, so compressed, and then you can hit compile, and you can also use auto-compile. So every time you save this file, it will auto-compile for you. You can do this with multiple files and everything, and this is the tool we will be using. So, but for now, let's get up the project set up, and I'll see you when that is done. Okay guys, we are back. We are in our text editor, also known as VSCode, and we have some new extensions. So I have been at work, I've been looking for all the new tools recently, just to help me get better stuff. So just so you know, I do have the Atom key map, so that is because I used to use Atom, and I prefer the Atom key map over VSCode's key map because Atom utilizes the command button on a Mac, where VSCode utilizes control, which isn't fun. We also have bracket pair colorizer, so this makes it easier to see what brackets are for what. It makes it, so as you can see there, you can see what it does. It makes it easier to see what brackets are for what. We are also using the material theme as usual, that's normal, and I think that's it for now, all we need for this video. We do have some other ones like npm Intellis, which I'll show you how they work later on. They're really good. But for now, that's all you guys need to know. And let's get started. So first off, we want to create an index.html, and we're using Emmet. And if you press what's that one? Oh, is that just a doc type? Nice. So if you press what's this button? Exclamation mark and then hit enter, you will bring up this boilerplate if you're using, again, VSCode with Emmet. Or I think it works if that's just a standard Emmet snippet, to be honest. But yeah, so we're going to change our title to Tyler Potts. And I also have prettier, and what prettier does is every time you save, it formats your code, so it makes it neater. I'm going to change this to indent using tabs for. Oh no, god damn it! I need to convert to indentations to tabs. There we go. So actually, every time I save, it like ruins it. That can be annoying, but it works normally. And actually, we don't need a link here. We ain't got anything. So just so you know, this is all basic stuff which helps with your website. If you want to learn more, type it into Google, ask what a meta viewport tag is, and then you can read up to this. It basically just sets the scale of the web browser. And then charset tells you how I think it's encoded on the page. And this one here helps with IE and Edge, although I'm not really supporting IE. Edge is moving to the Chrome browser, so again, it's going to work just like Chrome. Obviously, there'll probably be a few differences, but okay, so let's get started. So in our body, we are going to set up a few elements, and the first one is going to be a header tag, and we're going to say header, and we're going to give it a class of header. I know that seems annoying. We should just call it header and then access the header tag, but classes are it's better to read in code classes than it is to read actual tags. The next thing we want to do is go into image, and we're going to need to get our files, but for here we're going to put Tyler Potts, and we're going to say class of logo. So let's get our assets. So let's create a folder called assets and a folder called images. And now I'm going to drag from my other desktop a logo SVG into that images folder. So as you can see, this is it. It's an SVG. If you don't know what an SVG is, I can do a tutorial on that another time. And what we're going to say here is assets images logo SVG. And that is going to put the logo on our page. So if we now right click there, I don't have live surfer. Luckily in terminal I do have an npm surf, so to install this it's npm i-g surf. Well, you don't have to use -g, you can install it to the root, but I've installed it globally so I can use it, and then surf. So what I'm going to say here is surf. Oh no, wait, I need cd to the project, so we need to go projects, 100 days code, day 20, and we're going to list, and it's there, so we're going to say surf dot, and that has given us a link we can go to. It's copied it to our board, and we can paste that in there, and now we have a local surf. And as you can see, this is our logo. It is huge. So an SVG is a scalable vector graphic, which means you can make it as big as you want and it's not going to blur. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. So we don't want it that big, but we'll change the CSS soon. Let's carry on with our markup. In here we're going to need a title container, and inside title container we're going to need a h2 with h2 dot subtitle times 2, and one of them is going to say content creator, and the other one is going to say web developer. And then in between these two we need a h1 with the class of title, and inside of here we need a span times 2, and the first one is going to say Tyler in block capitals, second one is going to say Potts in block capitals. I'm going to put a space in between here because, oh hello, no, I want it like that. Don't do this to me, please. Okay, sure, my prettier wants me to keep it like that. I don't agree, but we're going to have to stick with it now. In here we're going to put top because that is top one, and in here we're going to put bottom. Actually, I think we're going to go by colour. So this one's going to be dark and this one's going to be primary. Right, I think that's how it goes. I don't remember what it looked like now. Ooh, I'm in trouble. And then in this one, we're going to have class of dark. And in this span, we're going to have class of primary. Oh, look at that. So now I've added classes. It's gone back to how it was. What? That is so pretty. So I'm using, as I said, the prettier extent. Oh, can I see it in here? I can't actually. Oh, there. Prettier code format. But by Espen Peterson, and it is actually amazing. You can set up the config. I can show you my config if you want. I've just basically set so it's tabs and stuff like that, but it works really well. So after title contain. Oh, I keep forgetting I can't save now when I do this, which I shouldn't be saving anyway. But we're going to have a nav.nav bar, and then we're going to have a times how many links do we have? 6. And we're going to have hashtag, and then this one's going to say about, another hashtag, and case studies. Although I feel like, what's the another word from it? Projects? Project. I feel like projects is good. Next one is going to be YouTube, because we're going to feature our YouTube channel. And games. Contact. And blog. Blog is going to be an external subdomain. So this is going to be built in. So at the end of this project, so we're going to start off with the landing page, then we're going to move on to the about page for tomorrow's video, projects for the next day's video, YouTube, and so on. But blog is going to be done at the very end. So even once we're finished these, we're going to have another video tidying up, adding in animations, tidying up, making it, optimizing it, and then putting it live. But then the blog is going to be built afterwards, and the blog is going to be made up of vue.js, Node.js and MongoDB most likely, or I've looked at Cosmos DB. Like I literally just read it. I didn't actually like look into it, but I don't know. It's everyone seems to be using that. It's the new meta, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. If you guys want me to do in Cosmos DB, let me know because I'll have a look. It had like some integration with Mongo or something, which sounds really cool. But for now, we're going to stick with MongoDB for now, unless I feel otherwise when we get to it. And I think this. We do. I'm going to add a class of nav__link or nav bar _link to all of these quickly, and I'll be back. And that is all the markup we need for now. We will need a hamburger, but we're going to do that last because that is going to be in the on a mobile view and not on anything else. Okay, let's get into the CSS. So first off, we want to create a new folder, call it SAS, and that's gone into the wrong folder. We want that in our assets. Move, close the image. And then in here we want a main.sas. And I normally create a folder called _variable. You know what, we're going to do it because I feel it's better practice. We're going to say _variables.sas. And in here, we're going to set our variable. So we're going to say primary is equal to ffce00, which is our bumblebee yellow. And our second color is dark, which is going to be our 171717. And then light, which is going to be F3, F3, F3. And it's converted that to lowercase. That's my prettier doing all that for me. Yay! I'm not sure I like that. Underscore variable. And now, all we have to do to include that in our main file is go import, and we're going to say _variables.sas, and that is that simple. So now all our variables will work. So we want to add some. Oh, actually, there's one thing we want to do. We are going to be adding it in. It's a Google font from Google, so we're using their API to pull in a font family, which will load up when you. Oh, God, I don't know how I like it when it does stuff like that. But it's called Sarah. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I'm going to call it Sarah. But yeah, it's a nice font. I like it. It works for my brand, so that is what we're going for. And then we're also going to go link, and we're going to say assets CSS, and we're going to say main.min.css. Obviously, this isn't set up yet, so we need to go back here where koala is, and we need to get our. Let me just open up we're going to navigate to Finder, and we're going to navigate to our project folder, which is website, and we're just going to drag and drop that on top of here. And there we go, that is that. And now we need to right click and set the output path. I'm going to create a new folder in here called CSS, and we're going to say main.min.css, and we're going to click save, and that is going to do that for us. And then if we click on here, we can check, yeah, it's already set, but I just have auto prefix, auto compile, and compress. So auto prefix adds in anything we need for browser support, and auto compiles it every time we save. So if we come along and we go in our Sass, and now we say body, and we say the body is got a margin of 0 and a padding of 0, and we need to change this. Why is this not? It should be default tabs, but I don't know why it's not. Anyway, padding, and then we're going to say font family, and we're going to say Sierra, I don't know how you pronounce that, and then we're going to say Helvetica without the Arial. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, so that's set up now. So if we go back here, oh, look at that, pretty. We refresh, and we go down there. As you can see, it's got our new font on it. Okay, that's looking good. So now in our, oh, and as you can see, our Sass has compiled. And that's good. So next up, we want to target our header. And in our header, we're going to say height of 100 VH, because we need it to stretch the height of the page, basically. And we're also going to set a width, because this helps me when I'm using grids for it to not expand further from what it needs to, because sometimes I find grids will expand further than the viewport. And we're going to say in here, so we're going to set up the background. So we're going to say background, and we're going to say primary to start with, but then we're going to say background with a linear gradient, and we're going to say to bottom right. We're going to say primary 50% and dark 50%. So what we're saying here is we're going to start a linear gradient which goes to the bottom right of the screen. So it starts at top left to the bottom right, and we're going to use our primary color from the top left all the way to 50%, which is the center, and then dark from 50%, well, from 100% all the way into 50%. And now if we go back and we hit refresh, there you go, that is done. Obviously it's going down. Secondly, we're now going to display grid. So this is where we're going to start using the grid template. Grid template columns, and we're going to just copy and paste and change that to rows. If we refresh now and we load that, as you can see, we've got our grid, which is awesome. Oh, and look, it's actually put everything into the grid, which is cool, but we don't want it like that, but we can change that once we're done. So next up, we want to set the logo, and we're going to say a width of 80 pixels. We're going to set a margin of 30 pixels. Actually, do we want 30 pixels, or do we want to set it center in that? No, 30 pixels. I don't want it too much into the center of the thing. And then we're going to say grid column, and this is how you define where you put this element. So we're going to say 1 divided by 2. It doesn't mean 1 divided by 2. It basically means we're going to start at line 1. So if we open this up and get this up, this is going to be great, and we're going to get the numbers. So we're going to say start at line 1, so here. So with the columns it goes along and the rows go down. So we're going to start at 1 and span, so make it go all the way over to 2. So that's what that says for 1, 2. We could say 1 to 3, and that would go from 1 all the way over to 3, which would be too big but for that. But we're going to say that, and then we're going to refresh, and there we go. It's now going from 1 to 2. If we look in, well, if we look at logo, there you go, it's in there, the margins around it, and it is only going inside of, it sits inside of the first grid block, which is good. Okay, so the logo is now good. We now want to move on to the title container. So we'll say title container, and we'll say grid column, and we're going to say we want it to span over 2 and 3, and the grid row we want it to span over 2 and 3 as well. So this is just going to center it in the center, and we're going to say justify self center, because we want all of that to be center. And if we go back and we refresh, that is now in that box there, which is good for us. That's good. And now let's do the nav bar, and we're going to say grid column is going to be 3 to 4. No, 2 to 3. It could be that can be 1 to 4. So we want that to span across the whole bottom, but we also want the grid row to be from 3 to 4. So we just want it in the bottom section here. 3. As you see, the number 3 and the number 4. And if we refresh, it comes down into here, which is good. Okay. So as you can see, this doesn't look like how my website did in the demo. So we're going to set it up now so it does. In this, we're going to say display flex. So we're going to combine the grid to get everything in position, and then we're going to combine flex box, which is going to basically center and move our content. So we're going to display flex, and we're going to say flex direction column, and we're going to say justify content center, and we're going to say align items center. So now if we refresh again, now it is more in the center, so it's getting there, it's slowly getting there. We now want to mess around with our title, our actual H1 tag. We're going to say font size, and we're going to go for a whopping 102 pixels. There we go, so that is good, that's looking good. And we're going to say font weight 900, because we want it to be it is already 900, but we wanted it to make, in case it tries to change it on any other. We're going to say line height 1, which brings everything in, and we're also going to say margin 0 for that. There we go. Okay, so we want to set up a few color elements here too. So we want to say dot primary. It's going to say it's basically just a class for oh wait, what am I doing? Primary. And then we're going to say dot dark. Oh, stark. Dot dark, and we're going to say color is equal to dark, and that is and light. We're going to do the same, but set it to light. And now if we refresh, something's, yeah, so that has gone to primary, that is still dark, and that is good. So that is just something small there. We're also going to go down here and say subtitle, and we're going to say font size is going to be 24 pixels. Font weight is going to be 100 because we want it thin. There we go. Okay, so now inside of our subtitle, we're going to go and, what is it, dark? Yeah, and dark, we're going to say align self. So we're going to, using Flexbox, we're going to align it to the flex start. And then, and primary, we're going to say align self to the flex end. And now if we go back, boom, so that is now in position and it's looking good. I think that's literally all we need for that bit. So that is sent, so that bit's done. Quite simple there. Now let's go on to the nav bar. So the nav bar is a little fun. We're going to use Flexbox as well. I like to combine as much things as possible so you guys can learn as much as possible in these videos. And we're going to say justify content, and we're going to say center. So this is going to center it, and then align items. We're going to say flex end. So now if we refresh, it's gone down there. God, the blue is horrible. Who thought link should be blue? Like, that's just, I don't know. Or at least that color blue. Make it a lighter blue so it's readable on dark backgrounds. Nav bar link. And we're going to set some margin for these. We're going to say 30 pixels to move them off the bottom of the bed, and we're going to say, I guess we could say 0 pixels and then 30 pixels, and then we're going to say 15 pixels to move them away from each other to make it a bit more readable. We're obviously going to set the color to light. I was contemplating doing the color off, actually no, primary will be the hover color, I think. Font weight will be 100, and the text decoration will be none. We refresh, there we go, and now we're going to add an and hover. We're going to say the color will be equal to primary, and the border bottom be equal to 2 pixels, solid and primary. Hey! I kind of like how it lifts as well. I thought I wouldn't like that, but that kind of actually adds a different effect to it, don't it? So that is the layout done. So this layout is done, except from now, if we start shrinking down, it starts breaking, because obviously we ain't done any responsive code. And to do responsive code, we use media queries, and I'm going to go for a desktop first approach and then shrink down into mobile. Title, we're going to say app media screen and max width, so you can say what's the max width. We're going to say 768, sorry, not 768, 1024 pixels, and we're going to say font size is going to shrink down to 72 pixels, and we're going to say our spans are going to have a margin of 0. Do they? No, because we didn't add margin, we've removed the margin, so that will do. That is as simple as that. And then we're going to say app media screen and max width 767 pixels, and I'm going to say font size 48 pixels. And now if we go back and we bring up this and we start shrinking this down, once we get to 1024 it shrinks down once, and then when we get below when we get onto like a mobile device, it shrinks even more. We will fix the rest of that in a minute. Okay, so now let's do the subtitle, which all we need is we're going to copy this media query here, and we're going to paste it under there, and we're just going to say this equal to 18 pixels. We want it to be thing. Also, I've just realized we don't set a line height here, but I'm going to say line height 1, because I want it to be, there we go. You won't notice much, but basically it brought it in slightly closer to the Tyler Potts title. Okay, so I guess Nav Bar kind of works. Oh, sorry, I've just tried to open up the DevTools and I pressed wrong. So if we press Control Alt, it works up until mobile. What about iPad? So yeah, it works on iPad. It looks fine. The website's looking pretty good. Very simple landing. We're gonna do the iPad Pro, maybe. No, we're gonna. So that's good. Galaxy S9 is broken, so we need to do a bit more styling because it breaks when it gets smaller, right? We need to go to the title container and we need to add a media screen and in parentheses a max width of 767 pixels, and we're going to say grid column. So now this is where the grid also excels in, because we're going to change the grid when it gets smaller. So we're going to say the columns go from 1 to 4. So instead of being in the center, it's then going to spread across the whole page. If we refresh, obviously nothing happens here, but as soon as we get to, let's say, an iPhone X, it now spreads across. Obviously that's still broken. We need to figure out why and fix that. So if we use the inspector, which is an awesome tool, okay, it hasn't updated. Why haven't you updated grid column? I've put that in the right bit. Title container. It's being sent. Oh, sorry. It's not the header which is broken. It's actually the nav bar at the bottom. So what we're going to do to that is we're actually going to go down to nav bar, and I've just realized. Sorry, this might be bad. I was zoomed out as well, so you guys might have had a hard time seeing that. I apologize. I'll fix that for next episode. In nav bar, we're going to go at media screen and max width 767 pixels, and we're gonna say width 100 VW, height 100 vertical height. We're going to say position absolute. So I don't like using absolute position, but for this reason it is great. We're going to say left 100 vertical width, and then we're going to say flex direction column, and we're going to say transition all 0.2 seconds linear, and then we're just going to say background is equal to linear gradient to right. We'll say primary 50%, and we'll say dark 50%. So now If we refresh, actually it's disappeared. It is over here, but what we can do to fix that is go up to our header and say overflow hidden. And that's not done anything. Okay guys, it turns out overflow x hidden on the header isn't going to work, but I think if we set the width 100 VW here and overflow x equal to hidden on the body, because we don't want anything overflowed on the x anyway. Oh, hello, you're on the wrong place. And now we hit refresh. There we go, it has gone. That was annoying. I don't know why it didn't work on the header. I think it's I don't know if it's because it's a display grid and grid has anything to do with it. In combination with float and position determines the type of box or boxes that are generated for an element. Okay, sorry. Okay, but I don't know why it didn't work on that. It should have, but it didn't. But for now, we'll leave it on the body. I think it works. We're missing our menu. And just to show you what the menu looks like, oh, actually, before we do, we also notice that it's going diagonal, and it doesn't look that great on mobile diagonal, so we're going to swap it to a vertical gradient. So to do that, we're going to go add media screen and max width 767 pixels. We're going to say, we're going to copy this linear gradient, and we're just going to say to right instead of to bottom right. And there you go. So it has now, although that is really annoying that it's slightly off. Is that, why are you slightly off for starters? Let's click on that. Let's have a look. So the white space, oh, it's going to bug me really bad. Wait, look, there's so, why is that? Why is that span starting there? The white space is like killing me, I feel. Ah, stupid white space. Right, it's alright. It's okay. We can work with it. Oh, hello. Let's go back to mobile. Okay, so that is good. It's looking good. I like it, other than the annoying. Oh, my font is still loading. So actually the font keeps defaulting back to Helvetica, but once this font loads, as you see it says waiting for fonts.google APIs. It should hopefully sort itself out. Good. There you go. Although it's still not centered. Well, it is center, but it doesn't look like the gradient. Maybe it's the maybe it's the gradient. What happens if we did just do that? That's going to do it from top and bottom, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of cool though. Maybe if we, that's a cool idea. Oh no, I'm finding no ideas. So I'm going to stop. To right. Okay, what I was thinking is maybe I could clip mask the text so it displays different colours either way. But for now we won't do that. Okay, so that is all good. So now we need a hamburger menu. And in the hamburger menu, or if we go back to there, we're going to say, underneath logo, we're going to say a label, and we're going to set the for hamburger. And we're going to say input type is equal to checkbox, and we're going to say name is equal to hamburger, and the ID is equal to hamburger too. And then I'm going to say dot hamburger, and we're going to say inside of that span times 3. There we go. So that is all we need. We don't have to put anything inside the spans because we're going to do some styling of our own. Underneath, oh, hello. Underneath logo, we'll say label, and we're going to say display none. Actually, okay, we're going to leave that like that for now, but I don't like that. And we're going to say position absolute C index 9999, just so it's above everything. We'll say top 30 pixels and left, oh no, right 30 pixels. And we're going to say width 35 pixels and height of 23 pixels. Okay, and once we have done the label, we are going to go into input, and we're going to say display none because that is a checkbox, and we're going to say and checked. We're going to say we'll use a tilde, which says anything next to, like a sibling, we'll say which is going to be hamburger. we're going to say span margin 0, and we'll say transition. I don't know. I just realised I'm doing this the wrong way. I haven't actually writ the we haven't actually writ the hamburger code yet. So down here, not input, out of input, we're going to say dot hamburger, and we're going to say span. We're going to say display block width. It's going to be 100%. The height of each one is going to be 5. We're going to say margin bottom 4 pixels, border radius 3 pixels. And we're going to say background is going to be equal to primary, and transition, transition is going to say all 0.2 seconds and be linear. And we're going to say and last of type has a margin bottom of 0 pixels. Okay, so there should be something displaying now. So if we refresh, oh, one sec, we displayed it as none, didn't we? We did display it as none. Okay, and then if we click there, we can see what that is. So now if we go and media screen and max width of 76 pixels, we're going to say we're going to say display block. I don't think it really matters what it displays, but and now if we refresh, there we go, it's there. Okay, so now inside of the checked what we set up, we're going to say and first child, and we're going to say, so we're going to use transform, and transform is awesome because you can do some cool like animations with transform. So we're going to say transform. Actually, we're going to say transform origin, so we need to set where it actually does this transformation. We're going to say 75% and 0%, and we're going to say transform rotate, so we're going to rotate it 315 degrees. You can do this by 45 degrees and set this as 25%, but 315 has a really cool effect. So if we go over it quickly and we refresh, if I click that, I see it span like really cool. Obviously the rest of them aren't animated yet, so we still need to animate those. We're going to say and nth, oh hello, and nth child 2. So we're going to say the second child, which is the middle child, we're going to say opacity is equal to 0. And we're going to say and why can't I type? Last of type is going to be equal to, it's going to say transform origin of 75% and 100% because we want it to transform from the bottom. And we're going to say transform rotate of minus 315 degrees. So now if we move back over here and we refresh and we hit that up, there's a cool little spin into like a cross shape, which I think is really cool. So when you click, so now that works. We also need to actually add in some JavaScript to get the menu coming out, because we're going to use a class to do it. So if we go back down here, and where are we? Nav bar and media screen, and then we're going to say in here and dot active, we're going to say left is equal to 0 vertical width. But to add that, we are now going to we're going to create JavaScript, which is everybody's favorite. So we're going to create a new folder called JS, and in there we're going to say main.js for now. And then inside of here we're going to say, so we need to get a few things. So if we go back here, we need to be able to get this input, which is called hamburger. So we're going to say const hamburger checkbox is equal to document.getElementById, and we're going to say hamburger, and then we'll say const the nav bar. Right, we want nav bar, yes, so we're going to say const nav bar is equal to document.querySelector, and we're just going to say in here, we're going to say .navbar. So we're just going to try and get our element, and then to this just going to return us the first element with the class of navbar. We're only going to have one in there. We're reusing it when it gets smaller. So now we need to say hamburger checkbox add event listener change, and on change we're going to say function. I'm going to say function, and we're going to say just say dot classlist dot toggle, and we can say active. And now this should do the exact same feature. So now in index, let's link it in. We're going to say script source. We're going to say assets javascript main.js. Now if we refresh and we hit that, hey, this is little animation spinning, and when we cross it, it does. And there you go. And then on this left side, I'm going to add in again social media links and stuff like that, but for now I don't have those prepared, because when we scroll the page we want it to move with us. So we want to go up here and we want to say position fixed, and then that will be also the same with our nav bar. So we're going to say position fixed, we're going to say top 0 pixels too, because we want it always to be at the top, although we don't have much of a page to really do. But if we go up here and we say body, and we just set some height, oh hello, height of let's say 2000 pixels for, and now we scroll, that's going to stay. But if we go back and we scroll, the navbar comes with us. Obviously the white is really hard to see on white, but we can always use that button now, which is really cool. Nice. All right, let's remove that. Remove the, where are we? The height. So again, this was a really simple tutorial. This was just the start of some fun things. This is basically the boring part, although it was quite fun. We did do a few things. I hope you did learn like about linear gradients and how you can use them to make. And if we go to our linear gradient, we remove this 50% as well. This will then turn it into like a proper gradient, as you can see, although we don't want that. It looks kind of terrible, but in some cases that will look good, of course. So this is really simple, but tomorrow we're going to be working on the About Us page, and then it's also going to have some more JavaScript and stuff in there, and I think the About Us is going to be quite simple. So if the About Us takes us really quick, we're going to add in maybe some more content on this home page, as well as so maybe some animation. So I really want to get it so these left and right, so the boxes, the black and the yellow, clash together, but I think we're going to have to use canvas to do that, and I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work, but we will figure it out. But for now guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more and learn more with us, then hit that subscribe button and go check out our other videos. If you are new around here, we have done a series called 100 Days of Code, and we're going all the way up to 100 days of code. We are at day 20% of the way through, and we're going to continue. We're also going to be starting up our own Discord server this Sunday, where everyone can join, get involved and talk. We don't know the name yet, so if you get a cool name idea, drop it in the comments. All names are going to be put into a hat or maybe some other way, or we can create a random generator and we will select the Discord name of the best name. So put your name suggestions in the comments and let me know. Okay, thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.